the questions related to bull market or bear market kind of stuff. Have we already completed the bull market, or are we entering into a bear market? That kind of questions are increasing in the marketplace. You come to the market, you look at the market, you see red numbers, and you're like, okay, that particular guy is right. It's a bear market. Or you see a green day and you look at the chart and say, this particular guy is right and it's a bull market. But I would like to ask you some easy questions, which is easy for you, me, and everyone, right? You go look at the charts, take the charts yourself, and validate this. And tell me whether you feel this is right or not. Say this is the last market cycle in the altcoin market. So here you have the bear market, say 273 days. Then followed by that, a consolidation of 448 days. Then you got the bull market, which was say 785 days. Great, that was good time, right? But understand this. In that, here, the first half of that 500 days, that was a bull run, wave one consolidation. But within that, if you are looking this positively, you go there and take this one, right? You see, we consolidated 370 days. So yes, you went up, but you consolidated 370 days. So that means if you are not in that consolidation, you didn't actually get this, if you didn't have that patience. Now, what I would like to really highlight to you guys in this video is to show you the altcoin market cap here, which is showing you the last bull market and this bull market. And then I'll bring you on to two different assets in last bull market. Say one coin was there for the 720 days in the bull market. I just showed you we had 785 days of bull market in the last cycle. So this particular coin, Syscoin, was there in the bull market run for 720 days, which is great, right? It had that most run there. But if you are looking at this area of breakout, that was 400 days. So you come here, you take this range, and you're 400 days inside that. So yes, you went up, but those who didn't have patience to ride this 400 days didn't actually get this leg up. Now, in the same cycle, meaning you're looking at this from 2015 all the way up to 2018, right? So you're looking, the run starts from 2016. So 2017 was the run up. Now, in the same duration, you're going to another asset. So this one is BTS, say BitShares. You look at BitShares here, and what you learn from this is healthy information. During that time when Syscoin was, doing great, it went way up, it was consolidating there. So if you are a guy who was okay, how much did it actually go up? It's not a bad deal. It went up 50-60x to the upside. Now at the same time, you go look at the altcoin market in general, and you understand this, that the altcoin market itself did 500%. At that point, this particular coin did 50x, 10 times of what the market actually did. Now, you come to other assets here, and you see, there were assets which literally didn't do anything except depressing you or any investors who were in at that time and showing you lower highs, but with the same low. Now, that gives you an idea of, in that entire bull run of that 785 days, this particular coin only joined in last 300 days. Now come back. One of the most important stuff which I want to share with you is this. From this bottom, when it actually ran up till this top, it actually did an enormous 3000x, right? So that's not bad. Now you come on to this particular coin, and you are looking at, okay, that coin didn't join from that beginning, but if you are taking the measurement and going up to that point, you are getting 300x. So you do have assets which actually pops 300x. Now that's a coincidence to see, it actually went up 308x in 308 days. But the matter here is, here this particular asset joined the party. It actually went way higher than the others, say a 10x extra, but it had 300x run up. And in that 300x, remember this particular stuff, 150 came in a very short time period. So why did that actually happen? So you look at the number of days it actually took to give you that. It was just 90 days where you have done 150x, and you take the last run up, you end up like this, 77 days. That's amazing, right? Now, don't be confused by that. I'm saying here in 90 days you did this, and then in 77 days. So you put that number together, you are like in 168 days, you have done this enormous ROI. So in that 308 days, 168 days here. So you already are like 150 days of nothing again in that 300 days of bull market. So you come to the XRP and look at the same. It was 308 days of bull market, and as we all know, we are all familiar with this particular consolidation here, which took like 210 days. So immediately you had a little bit of correction, say a month, but what you're looking at is entire run up happened in 100 days. Now that's in last cycle. So guys, stay with me on this. This is important if you hold XRP, because in the last cycle, when say this particular coin did enormous 50x, XRP didn't do anything, right? Agreed. Now in the last cycle, if you are taking from that bottom till that top, XRP actually ran up like 1300x. So it was not bad, it was really good stuff, right? And if you actually understand this perspective, in this cycle, when this particular coin has already went up and is consolidating here near the all-time highs, it actually have done 70x. So last time when it did 50x, XRP did nothing. This time when it did 70x, XRP has already done 15x. So you take it from here and you reach the top and you're like, XRP did 15x. So you come to this one, BitShares, you go to this particular asset and you look at this one. Say in this particular cycle, taking from that bottom, if you will, it actually ran up 16x and it came back to this particular level of support, which was the consolidative area, right? So if we go look at XRP, that particular range will come down here. Say you take that consolidation range, this was your support, then it turned as resistance, so it comes here 0.2, 0.3, but at the same time you see that the accumulation in XRP is much higher. You are staying above this particular range. Now that's support resistance zone. You're staying way above that. So compared to other assets in the cycle which has already been there from that time, 2014, 2015, you see XRP is doing much better. And even in the last cycle, XRP did enormously well with these assets. Great. This did 300x, whereas XRP did like 1300x. That's not bad. Now, what I'm about to say is, if you are looking at Syscoin in the last cycle and then looking at this cycle, it's already like 650 days. Now, assets like Link or SNX, there are coins which have done enormously well in this cycle, right? Not last cycle. So now you have an idea of last cycle. What was the total duration of the last cycle? How much was the bull run? What was the consolidation, right? Now you come into this cycle. You see a lot of interesting stuff here, and that's that's one of the information which I would really like to give you guys, where you need to understand that and digest that properly, so you are taking informed decision where you're like, okay, this particular asset is doing like this in this bull market, and there are other assets in this cycle doing the same stuff. So most probably you're going to see something similar here in XRP. Then if you want to compare it with Bitcoin, you can do that, right? So we are going to go into all those details. I know that was a long intro, but that's a load of information which I really wanted to give you. Now we are going into details, right? So welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. So guys, you look at these two and you understand that in the last market cycle, we have seen like 770 days, 780 days, that range of bull market. And in this cycle, a couple of assets are giving you an idea. Say one shows you it had 1000 days of bull market. 1000 days of bull market. Another one shows you it had like 780 days of bull market. Now we go on, you look at the altcoin market cap and you're like, okay, fine, how much has we are already done, right? This is your bottom, this is your consolidation. So you can, if you are so super optimistic, you can say this is the starting point. So you come up to this top and that's like 658 days of bull market. Now if you haven't forgotten, last time the entire bull market was 785 days, and the first 500 days of that was wave 1 and correction. The last 300 days was wave 2 and wave 3 together. So if you are looking like, okay, what does that actually mean? It means in the first 500 days the market did 500%. That's not bad, but from that point on the correction of that bottom, the last 300 days to 87 days to be precise, you look at that and you are watching an enormous market fluctuation of 200x from there, not the absolute bottom but from the top. So if you take from the bottom of that correction, you are now at 450x. These are not small numbers, right? Now that gives you an idea of what you are going to look at. So when people say get out of the market, ask this yourself. 500 days you have been in the market and you didn't get much. Last 250 days was like the big area where you would have taken profits. So if you have moved out of the market looking at this consolidation, I feel bad for those guys, right? So now when you are here in this market, you now know this. You went above the all-time high. You look at this. Okay, I'll take this one from here. No branding there. So you went up. You went above the all-time highs. You consolidated there. You go back to our videos in late Feb or early March. We were talking about this when we were here going through this all-time highs, saying we would have this consolidation 300 days, 350 days. I don't know how many of us believed it, but now you are like 300 days of consolidation. And I'm like, okay, I was right. But you know, the market, the patience, it's all hard for even any human being. So I'm also a human being. It's hard for me too, right? But if you understand what's coming for next 1 year, now here it was 287 days. Most probably, I think in this cycle it would be like 310 days. Now, which means here you had total 785 days, in which 500 days was the first one. Now here it's like 700 days. You have that extrapolation there. So when you take that, you get more number of days in the next bull market, which probably means after wave 2, you are again going to get huge corrections and consolidations there. So last time, if you're taking from the top to the bottom, you actually did 65% downside. That is not bad, but yes, the market usually does that. So now you come on to say assets which perform well in this cycle. Chainlink, 1000 days of bull market, right? But you see, like, you know, wave 1, 10x up, then another 378 days of consolidation before it actually broke that region and went higher. Then the second one was like 150 days. Then you're doing this. Now you go back to your Jan or Feb digest. I've already told at that point, like, you know, we are not expecting much return on this asset from here, and it didn't do much. Same for SNX. We told at this point in Feb saying, get out, or we don't see any ROI in this asset, right? And it hasn't given you anything except you're a bear, right? If you are selling, shorting this one, yeah, you made some money, but to the downside, it's 100%. So your reward is 100%. And when it goes opposite way, your risk is 100%. You lose it. So, you know, it's 1:1. But to the upside, when you go for assets like this, your downside is 100%. I agree. What if that goes wrong? What if, you know, that happens? What if this happens? But your upside is not 100%. This one can run 10, 20, 100x. Right? So 1:10, 1:100, that's a big difference. So that's how investors look at. You look at what are you going to get. So now, when you're looking at this 770 days of bull market and come into the XRP from that bottom, if you will, if you take that and consider this as a rally, which was 15x, 658 days of bull market. Isn't that interesting? Okay, if you didn't get that point, I'll go back to the altcoin market and show you 658 days in this bull market XRP was also in a bull market for 658 days. I don't know how many of you will agree, but we were at this range, right? 0.1, 0.11. That was bad days for those who were holding, but good days for those who were buying, accumulating, right? Averaging down. Now, in the same concept, you go back in the last cycle and look, the first 500 days, XRP did nothing. So don't forget the history. You learn a ton from that. So the first 500 days here, you literally did nothing in XRP. And right now, in this cycle, you have this particular trend and you have already joined the party with 15x. So when people say this is a shit coin or this is not going to do anything, I feel, either they are not taking the time to go through the asset, learn what these are showing them. Because each time you go up, you consolidate. Each time you go up, you correct back down, consolidate. Because if you are looking at this asset, yes, it did well for those who came in so early. And yes, it dropped 60-70% intermediately. So if you don't have stomach to digest all these 70% dips, you're not actually making all those ROI. Because from the bottom, if you are looking LSNX, yes, it did 700, 800x in this cycle, but in between, you had 70-80% dips. So if you can't sit through these, it's really hard. Now, sitting through those are not that easy because it takes like 200 days, 300 days to come back up. In Link, it was 370 days to come back and blow through that roof. So if you don't have the stomach to digest this, don't even think about making these gains, right? You can be happy with that 3-5x and leave the market if you don't have the appetite for the risk. But understand, there are assets which does like this. It blow off in the final phase and it do all required in that phase. But this time for XRP, it's different, right? We have joined the party. We have done this bull market. The first wave, when the last wave, in the last cycle, you look at this place, XRP didn't do anything. This time, when the market went up, XRP did something. So when the time actually comes for the market to do this stuff, imagine what XRP is going to do. If you believe it, you can believe it. If you don't have to. But understand, that is going to happen. Because this is a market, say, for example, we have seen people reducing the XRP. We were like, 80%. Now it's 75%. We didn't reduce any XRP, but other assets went up. So, obviously, as a portfolio, XRP slowly came down. But understand, we have seen people from 80-90% XRP reducing the XRP to all the different assets, moving on. That's completely up to them if they know what they are doing, and if they are moving into different assets and making money, that's good for them. But make sure if you're moving into an asset where there is liquidity and you know the project well, you have studied the rate of adoption, the progress, the developers behind it, and they are constantly progressing. If you don't have all those, there would be, sudden drops. You'll have hype, you'll move up, but what if there is a huge drop? Or what if, now this is not what if, we have members who had these issues. They went 8-10x to the upside, but there was no liquidity in the market. They couldn't get the profit out. They had to wait there watching the price go down or move into a different exchange, take a little by little, all those pain in the ass kind of stuff. That really happens. So if you are well informed, take those decisions. Now, if you have a lot more assets and you're like, okay, the market is a lot more different. It has assets which run like these. Now, we had been following these, right? You go to the Patreon, you look at the charts. We have seen this coming. And we have been talking about these from some time. Now, it takes a month, 2, 3 for you to get positioned. And then that 1 month blow off. That's where you make that profit. But to get that profit, you actually have to get in this asset here. You had to accumulate here, right? So that's what is happening here. You look at this, the same pattern, the same trend. You are getting that accumulation. Your base is not kicking down, you're staying in the same range, you're not even making a new low, you're making a higher low, but still this particular trend is valid, right? So you know that this is coming, but the negligence will be there until this actually blows through that all-time highs. Then people come back in. Now it's completely up to them. It's your choice, it's your money, but always make informed decisions. And that's why we actually try to post charts for almost all the assets which you have in your portfolio, including a monthly digest. Now it's not for every members, it's for those who actually want it. those who actually asked for that, right? So when you look at these, you are like, okay, this particular asset is there, that's actually doing this. You look at all these stuff and you're like, okay, there is a market where you can make money. There are a lot of different assets in this market. If you want to make money, say you are 80% in XRP, you can use that 20% to trade others. 3 months, 6 months, a year, you make 5x, rotate it to another one. Not a daily or weekly trading. We don't do that. We do like, 3 months, 6 months. We position, it goes up, you take profit, then you move on to another one, which is at the lower end at that point. So if you want that, I would say wait 2-3 days. Join the Patreon in the next month, say 2021 Jan, right? In your geographical region. So guys, the link for Patreon is in the description below. So if you want to jump on it, you can do that. If you receive value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. So guys, I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.